Our veterans this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our friend John Basiliga. Today featuring, as we head into the weekend, just one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. You want a bar, restaurant, and great food, from the best steak to the best wings. Old Brook Inn, 307, Springbrook Township. Far Street Tavern, the great Trips Park section of West Scranton, of course, on Far Street. And the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. Fine dining? Yeah, we got that too. The best of the best. A Terra 519, a modern take. I call it understated Manhattan. Just go and see the place. Gorgeous. Staff, food, outstanding. Great bar too, by the way. The Stegmeyer Mansion, another great bar. Downtown Wilkes-Barre. Classic atmosphere. None better. You heard one of our listeners, Bill from Pittston, call in about the Stegmeyer. Awesome. Want to catch a movie this weekend? Reader's Choice. Scranton Art House. Place to go. Robert Bobby Baird. A lot of you remember this name. Bobby Baird was 95. He was from Shavertown when we lost him November 11th. He passed away on Veterans Day. Born in 1930 in Kingston. A gifted trumpeter from an early age, Bobby attended Syracuse University and Catholic University before becoming the youngest member and trumpet soloist for the U.S. Navy Band in Washington, D.C. from 1948 to 1952. And if you don't think that's a big deal, go listen to the Navy Band or check them out on YouTube. You'll know it is. He went on to a remarkable career as a performer whose music touched many lives for more than 7 decades. Bob married Patricia Roberts Baird in 1954. They shared nearly 70 years of marriage until her passing in August of 2024. Bobby Baird is survived by 4 children, 8 grandchildren, 8 great-grandchildren, many other family members. He was a member of Dallas Rotary for 50 years, serving as president, past president, and receiving the Paul Harris Award twice. He especially loved playing the trumpet for his church. Robert W. Bobby Baird, our veteran this hour, brought to you by our friend John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Well, that means the weather, doesn't it? Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. He says today sunny and breezy, 35. Tonight, partly cloudy, 25. Thursday, cloudy and windy with a chance of flurries, 32. Friday, then, it gets serious cold, partly sunny and much colder, 25 degrees. So not a great weather forecast. Hey, there is an event taking place next Thursday, the 11th. Okay? And I'm going to have a little bit of an author's Q&A with Matt Birkbeck. And Matt he's a writer's writer. He wrote The Quiet Don about local mafia chief Russell Buffalino, The Life We Chose by his successor, Billy D'Elia, and The Wicked, which is an amazing novel, his first, about murder in Jim Thorpe, PA. He's got the Bookie coming out as well in January. He's just prolific author and an amazing writer. His books are so smooth, it's off the charts. And then I'm going to have my old friend Chris Finazzo. I was in Fort Dix prison with him. Reflections of a Town Driver, giving one of the best accounts of a prosecution prison experience. And he weaves in, because he drove these guys to, when they were leaving prison, guys 20, 25 years, lifers, the whole bit. He drove them home and found out their stories, and he weaves that in. It's a great, great story and a great book. So we're going to have them in next Thursday, 12 to 1, right here at the studios. Excited about that. Wreaths Across America. That is happening again. St. Stanislaus Cathedral Cemetery, Kane Street, off of Davis Street, Scranton, PA. 12 p.m. on that Saturday, the 13th. They'll be doing a wreath-laying ceremony, and it's just this beautiful program. You might have seen the advertisement, $17 if you donate it. They have another wreath, and they do this literally across America. That's why it's called Wreaths Across America. So just a mention of that. Pretty good deal. Now, a lot of you commenting on this this Trump, and he does these things, and I'd rather he didn't. But does it bother me? No. It doesn't bother me at all. Trump is coarse. He's blunt. And he says things that other people are just thinking. And that's unusual for President of the United States. Some would say unbecoming. And that's fine. But the fact is, the people he's talking about, he's right on target about, especially Tim Walz, the disgrace. What a goof. Absolute goof. And he's offended. Yet targeted abortions of Down syndrome children, that's okay. Killing people because they have Down syndrome is okay. But using the word retard is a nightmare that we can't even handle. Disgusting. Disgusting, disgusting people, I'm telling you. All right, we have to take our little break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We want to hear from our great sponsors. We love our sponsors. Oh, by the way, Thursday, Friday, or was it Saturday? One of the nights I was at Jack's Draft House. And it's packed, so I go to sit down next to Cutie. Who's next to me? Erwin Coast Jr. and his wife. And I just tell him I love his voice. He succeeded his father doing the commercials. And they've got an amazing company. I love Coast Tire. You go to any one of their locations, and I'm telling you, the guys who run the show and who work there, they act like it's their own business. So it's a distinctive culture, and they do an amazing job. And I don't say it just because they're a sponsor. I say it because I go there, and I've experienced it. I've gone to 3 different stores, all of them exceptional. I go to the Jefferson Avenue more often in Scranton because it's closest to my house. But they're amazing. They really are great. And so, yeah, it was good to run into Erwin Coast Jr. We love our sponsors, and that's why I say I know the gutter people, whatever. But the rest of them, I'm telling you. Well, I'm not a psychic guy, but still, when they whistle, I still remember that. I can't forget that commercial. But let's hear from our sponsors. We'll come back. We've got a lot to do. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Paul Revere and the Raiders. Murph says on this date in 1966, they were moving up the charts with their hit Good Thing. Bob Cordaro on the eponymous program. Let's go to the blower right away. Kevin from Duryea. How are you, Kevin?
Hi, Mr. Cordaro. Listening to you a long time.
Great.
And I just want to make a quick comment. I have a state rep who basically tried to throw me out of his office by the name of Haddock in Houston. And it was over the Kerr McGee thing. He said I came too late to the party. And all of Duryea was in the kill zone. And I had a brother years ago who, after he finished the U, took 2 years off to work at the Acme Market to send himself through law school. And he was like, he lost a kidney just recently, cancerous kidney. And I have a sister that's very sick. My mother had all kind of breast cancer. My dad was mayor of town for about 12 years, and he had his own ailments. I have mine, and he's telling me, get out of my office. You're getting bad information. And we're going toe-to-toe. And I said, well, do you pay the electric bill here, Mr. Haddock? You know? And I also have problems with Social Security, which I can't understand. But 60 Minutes ran an episode, and you could get it on demand, or you can get it on Paramount. It's season 56, episode 8, where it's the second story how Social Security has done this to about 1 million people. Their excuses are, well, we didn't have the manpower, COVID was going on, and, yeah, maybe it's our fault, but you still got to pay. So I got a $14,000 lien on my Social Security.
Oh.
They take out $98.
Because when they overpay you, it's your problem. That's right.
Right, exactly,
Yep,
exactly.
I know.
I've got
This
in touch
Kerr
with,
McGee thing.
Senator.
People have forgotten about that. It was bad. And I'm not a
Yes, it
Haddock
was.
fan. He's a left-wing lunatic.
Yeah, he is. And let me tell you this. He, right away, when I said about Social Security, I said, I'm going to get Congressman Brisnahan involved. And he starts down the road. Well, that's your problem right there. He's a Republican. He's worth $49 million.
Oh, God
and
almighty. What an ass.
He married Chelsea Stroop in August. He used to be on Channel 16.
Sure.
And I mean, I'm not talking out of turn. All this stuff is public information.
They'll take care of you, Kevin. They'll take care of you. They'll look into your problem.
Yeah,
although there may not be anything to be done when that's the crazy. It's like the IRS. If they screw up, it's still your problem. That's the law. There's not much you can do about it, unfortunately.
Well, I have the ability to fight them tooth and nail. And I won't get a lawyer from around here. I'll go to Philadelphia, Virginia, or D.C. You know, I'm not going to get some local lawyer and some local judge, because where I live, you can't believe how corrupt it is around here. I mean, Luzerne County is probably the most corrupt place in the country. That's why they went for President Trump 3 times. You know, and if you mention his name, you know, to certain people, and I've never owned a MAGA hat in my life, you know, but the man speaks truth to power, you know, and they just can't stand him.
No,
they sooner or later, they're going to blame him for the Depression. They're going to blame him for the Titanic.
By the way,
soon.
We're talking about Tim Walz. He speaks truth to idiots too.
Yeah, well, that's why I text Governor Shapiro, because I have a Jewish brother-in-law, and my niece is Jewish, and I was at a local bar recently, not too long ago, and somebody said they found out, and they've been married 30 years, and someone said to me, when did you become a Jew lover? So that's the mentality around here, you know? And so I text Shapiro, and I said, Governor, count your blessings that they didn't pick you, because, you know, that was Harris. There's too much. A woman of color and a Jewish guy has never worked. So they got Jazz Hands, who that's the lead story on. That's the lead story on Fox. And
I say he's Rip Taylor without confetti. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I said I wanted to say one more thing
Quickly,
about you. I used to watch you Okay, I used to watch you at a commissioners meeting, and someone came and said about revenue neutral, and you said like, "Oh God Almighty, somebody actually understands stuff." And I don't know if you got framed or you only know, right? If you, but the thing that I respect about you is you did your time, right or wrong, and that's
Well, I didn't
to
have a
me that's
choice.
yeah.
Had they
And
given me a choice, Kevin, I wouldn't have.
okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay, thank you for your time,
And
Mr.
best
Cordero. I
wishes with
appreciate
that
it.
Social Security thing. That's a pain.
Okay, thanks
All
a
right,
lot,
man.
sir. Bye bye.
Thank you. We got to go to the news. Bob Cordaro, WILK. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me. And listen, it's not a Raymond Weil, but they have those. It's not a Breitling. They've got the best selection of those. Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, Tory Burch, Victorinox, Bulova, G-Shock. It's not any of those. It's a Picardo Jewelers watch. I love it. It tells me it's 10:01 and change. And so let's hear the news from Brian Hughes. We will come back, and I'm hoping we can hook up with our man Chuck Wepner. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. 10:08 a.m. here in the great Northeast. That's what my Picardo Jewelers watch tells me. Well, it also tells me it's Wednesday, December 3rd, year of our Lord 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our friend John Basiliga, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but salute today thanks to John, like Robert W. Bobby Baird of Shavertown, Raymond Miley of Tannersville, formerly of Carbondale, and Richard Figler of Old Forge. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, letting you know that we're committed to common sense, and we will provide a sanctuary of sanity in a world that's gone mad, especially the Democrat Party. It just, I don't know. What are you going to say? You can't say much more. Well, our next guest, I am so excited over this. I met his daughter, and I knew her, and she happened to say, that's Chuck Wepner's my dad. I said, Chuck Wepner. He was my old buddy, one of my best buddy, Jerry Tomasetti's friend. They had fought 3 times. And I said, obviously, I followed his career. He was the inspiration for Rocky, the movie. And in addition, not just that, but Rocky 3, when Rocky fought Thunderlips, because Chuck Wepner fought Andre the Giant. An amazing career, and it all started in Bayonne, New Jersey. Chuck Wepner, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you?
Good, Bob. How you doing?
I'm great. What an honor to speak with you. My friend Jerry Tomasetti, he talked glowingly about you often.
Jerry was one of the toughest guys I ever fought. We had 3 fights, and boy, every one of them was a war.
Now, I thought that he had won the first one back in 1964, but he won the last of your fights.
No, he won. I won the first one. He won the second, and I won the third.
Yeah, okay, because you had to have a rubber match, and you fought in Madison Square Garden. I mean, amazing.
I fought there 8 times. I fought in the Garden more than anybody except for Emil Griffin. Who was the welterweight champion of the world.
Now, you're born Bayonne, New Jersey. You grow up poor. It is your bedroom was a former coal shack attached to the house.
Yeah, well, my mother and my brother and I moved in there after my mother and father split up, and that's the only place we had to live. My grandmother was the superintendent of a building, and grandfather, and they made up a former coal shed and cleaned it up and all. That's where I lived until I was 13.
Wow. Now, you're in high school. You're getting involved in sports. You're a big kid. You turn out to be 6'5", but you join the Marines early. You get inspired, and you join the Marines.
Yep, I saw the movie Battle Cry with all the beautiful women and good times. I said, make me a Marine. I joined when I was 17.
Now, that comes out later in a funny story. You knocked down Muhammad Ali in 1975 during your championship fight.
9th round.
And you went to the corner and you tell Al Braverman, Al, is this true? He says, Al, start the car. We're going to the bank. We're going to be millionaires.
I told him because it didn't look like he was going to get up, but he got up at the count of 9, and the fight went 15 rounds. Yeah, he was a great fighter, and we became great friends later on in life.
How quick was he? How quick was Muhammad?
How quick he was. I kept trying to cut him off because that's the way I fought. And every time I got him in a corner or against the ropes, he'd throw 4 or 5 punches and he was gone. He was very quick.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. You look through your career, Oh, yeah. And by the way, Braverman responded when you said to start the car. He said, you better turn around. He's getting up and he looks pissed.
Oh, right? That's exactly what he said. And he was.
Chuck Webner's our guest of boxing fame. And, man, you did it all in the boxing ring. You really did. Your fights, I'm looking through it, George Foreman. You fought another local character who I love. He's still around, my buddy Tommy Sheehan.
Yeah, yep. Tommy Sheehan, too. Yeah, he was a good guy, tough guy. You got all tough guys up there in Pennsylvania. I think that's their middle name. Everybody's middle name is tough.
You fought Dwayne Bobbitt, the Olympic champion. Man, you go through your fight. And then, of course, in the middle of all that, Muhammad Ali. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we fought all the tough guys. In those days, that was 50 years ago, you had to fight everybody when you were coming up. You know, you didn't sidestep anybody. Nowadays, these kids run off 20 in a row against their brother-in-law, their cousin, and who the hell did they fight? And then they fight for $1 million. I made less than that in my whole career.
Well, the Ali fight you got $100,000 for, right?
Right.
Wow.
Don King was my promoter. Yep, paid me $100,000. It was a big payday.
Now, you fought Sonny Liston. You said he was, even though you've also fought guys like Joe Bugner and Ali and George Foreman, you said Sonny Liston was the biggest puncher you fought.
Oh, yeah. At that time, he had like a 90% knockout ratio, and he could punch. Sonny threw everything short and hard, and I still went 10 rounds with him, and I was chasing him when he stopped the fight.
Now, you were a guy at a certain point in your career that they had to get through to get to the higher echelon, right?
Right. That's right. That's what they called me, the buffer.
Chuck Webner's our guest of boxing fame. Now, your career, all during your career, and they said in the Ali fight, that was the first time you had a chance to train full time, and you really showed it, because 15 rounds today, nobody can even imagine going that long.
No, they don't do it anymore. They stopped a little after me, and I used to get up in the morning, do my road work, come back, take a shower, go to work all day, and then go to the gym at night. I never trained full time for a fight except for that one fight with Ali, and Don King sent me to camp, and like Don King said, I turned his water into wine. That was what I was saying, because nobody figured it would go more than 4 or 5 rounds. I went 15.
Oh, Lord. Well, your durability was a big deal. Now, Sylvester Stallone, he is very much aware of you. And he now you had to sue to get justice there.
I had to go to court, and it was straightened out at a court, and then I had to go back to court, and the judge told him, he said, Mr. Stallone, he said to his lawyer, Mr. Adelson, he says, if I were you, I'd make a deal with Mr. Webner, because if you don't, I'm going to make the deal, and you're not going to like the numbers.
Oh, my gosh. So now, was part of that court action, was part of that about, remember he fought the Thunder Lips as part of Rocky III? Was part of that where he sort of was mimicking your career?
He mimicked my career, my whole career after. He made the movies, all those movies, every one of them mimicked something about my career. Thunder Lips, the black guy, Mr. T.
Yeah.
That was, it was the wrestler Thunder Lips, like you said. And in the last movie, the promoter in the movie that promoted the fight in Rocky V was Don King with the big fur coat and the hat and everything. So he said, "You're great. he said, "You're great news, and we want to tell the world about it." That's all right with me, as long as you pay me.
and so you and Stallone, though, eventually became friends.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we became friends for 30 years, and then we had we broke up our friendship over the suit, but it was terrible. I didn't really want to do it, but my lawyers talked me into it, and I had to sue him, and I went out to San Diego with him, and we sat down and we straightened it out.
Nice, and he admitted it later. He admitted it outright that you were the inspiration for Rocky.
I had him on film. I had him on TV shows. I had him on 7 or 8 different times. Yeah, he admitted it. And to this day, a lot of people call me either Chuck, Champ, or Rocky. One of the three. I don't care what they call me. As long as they don't call me late for dinner.
Now, you were always looking for a way to make a buck, and one way you decided was to go into the ring with Andre the Giant. Could you tell us about that?
Oh, it was great. He was at that time. He was 7'4", and he weighed 530 pounds, and he was a national celebrity. So they figured out, let's make a mixed match. And I said to them, well, if I'm going to fight a wrestler, I'm going to fight my style, Bayonne style. And they said, what's that? I said, rabbit punches, low blows, head punch. I mean, that's the way I fought. I mean, a lot of friends of mine from Scranton fought that style. That's why I like fighting guys from Scranton. Tough guys. And Jerry Thomas said he was one of the toughest guys I ever fought.
Oh.
And I enjoyed fighting Jerry and then meeting him and hanging out with him, and we became good friends. I loved him.
Oh, he loved you too. He talked about you often, and just said what a great guy. But he said you were crazy now, Chuck.
Well, I had a lifestyle. I liked wine, women, and song, and big cars. I always drove a Lincoln. Right now, I got a new Lincoln.
Nice.
But now I'm with my third wife, Linda, and none of that anymore. She's got me down pat, and we're together now 32 years.
Nice.
And I'm nuts about her. Linda, she's same birthday. Yeah, same birthday too. February 26th. We're born the same day.
Nice. And I was born 2 days earlier on February 24th. So
you're a Pisces too.
Yeah, honored to be in the soup with you. Now, how big was Andre? You were 6'5".
He was 7'5", 550 pounds approximately. He said, Chuck, I gain and lose 10 pounds overnight. So look on how much I eat. But he was 550 pounds, and he was 7'5".
Now, Chuck Wepner, you were known for your partying. Did you get to drink with Andre the Giant? Because they said he could drink more than anyone on earth.
No, I didn't, because I was in training prior to the fight, and then afterwards, I was a big drinker in my life. I like to party, but I didn't drink a lot. I like my vodka because I'm Russian and Ukrainian. Those our people all love their vodka.
Yeah.
But I was there one time in a restaurant where they honored him, and he drank 122 nip bottles of beer. He liked the beer. He just sat there and put it up, right down. Then he got another one, and they clapped. The Japanese people loved them, and they clapped after every beer. They should have. I mean, that was amazing. I couldn't believe he kept going and going and going. But he was a character himself, and the wrestling lost a great champion of wrestling when he died because he was the biggest star in wrestling at that time.
Yeah. Well, there was a movie, a 2017 movie about you called Chuck.
Yes.
Big stars. Liev Schreiber, Naomi Watts, Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah, great, and they all did terrific, and they did me proud. The movie came out, and it's done. It so started, but they picked up and then went to Europe and went all over, and it's Showtime. They they really pushed the movie near the end, and the movie's done quite well, and it's still being shown. I saw it last week. It was on 5 times in a 10-day period.
Nice. Chuck Wepner, what would you? I mean, what do you consider your legacy? You did so many things, and you were either on the fringe of fame or you were famous for almost your whole adult life. What's a highlight or two?
Condition and aggressiveness. And one of my highlights is marrying my third wife, Linda. She really turned the life around for me, because when I got home from the joint, I was headed back in the wrong direction again. You know, same people, same. And then I met Linda, and that was the end. You know, me and Linda for the rest of our lives.
Well, you had a pretty major drug problem to the point where they sentenced you to 10 years in New Jersey, which I'm like, wow.
Right.
I guess you weren't a Biden, but
you know what? Let me tell you something. They were bringing me into prison. I had 10 guys on a fence yelling, "Chuck, Chuck, Chuck!" I have my own cheering section. The warden Gray, said to me, "My man, who are you?" These guys all cheering. Usually they're cheering when you're leaving. They're cheering you're coming in. I passed Fort Ali, and I went 15, and they made the movie Rocky about me. "Oh, my man, you're the best. I gotta get your autograph." And they made me the boxing coach in 2 weeks. So I ran around prison training guys, and it was all right. You know, I made a mistake, and I paid for it, and I straightened my life out.
And what an amazing life. The fame didn't change you either. Jerry Thomas said, he told me that. He said fame didn't change him. He's who he is every day of the week, and no matter who he's with.
I try to be. You know, I try to be, and just because I got lucky and I got a break in the movie, and that shouldn't change, and it didn't with me. You know, I'm still in the same town, Bayonne, New Jersey. I've lived here my whole life, and I hang out with the same people that I grew up with, and I go to the same places, and of course I go a lot more places now because I get comped and called all over the place, and you know, the fact that I fought Ali and that they made the movie Rocky about me did a lot for me, and I'm very thankful, very thankful.
Chuck Wepner, what do you think about the state of boxing today?
The heavyweight division stinks. They got no real good heavyweight. They got a couple of young kids, but they haven't proven themselves yet. And it's the smaller guys, the little guys are the great fighters now. You know, the lightweights and the welterweights, and but the heavyweight division, they got had 2 guys that are there, and they beat each other once or twice, and there's no great heavyweights around.
Chuck Wepner, and you talked about being a Bayonne street fighter, which you were, and you were known for that. And what do you think would have happened if there was MMA fighting around, which has major money behind it? Would you have done that?
Oh, sure. You could be Don King and Donald Trump, the president, who ran the first couple, wanted me to fight Tex Cobb.
Wow.
In one of the first cage matches. That would have been a great fight, but I would have beat him.
That would have been the 2 toughest guys I've ever seen.
Yes.
Who would not? You couldn't knock him out. He couldn't knock you out.
Yeah, well, I beat him up, though. He became a friend of mine later, and I met him. He came to New York, and he was living in the back of a van because he had no money.
Yeah.
And but I met him, a great guy, real good guy, and I took him out with me a couple of times, and he said to me, "Chuck, I've done it all except for this. I don't know if I get to go out with you again." I said, "Oh, Tex, you're just saying that." He said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Man, 2 days in a row with no sleep." Well, that was my MO, you know. And, I like to go out and have a good time, and I knew everybody and knew all the after-hours clubs, and it was a great life in them days.
Well, Jerry Tomasetti told me, he said when I'd hang around with Chuck Wepner, you didn't go to bed for the whole weekend, and then you were divorced at the end of it.
I got divorced twice. My wife just didn't understand. But yeah, how it goes. I got number three now, and she's a keeper. She is so much fun, and she loves to have a good time. But she never drank. She didn't do drugs. The only thing she did was smoke. And when we got married, she quit that too. She quit smoking. And I don't know how the hell I ever wound up with her. She's too good for me. But I guess she wanted to straighten me out, and she did. We're together now, like I said, 32 years.
Wow. Amazing life. Just amazing. How old are you now, Chuck?
I'm 86.
86. And your health is good. I saw pictures of you with your daughter, and I've seen pictures of you recently. You look great.
Well, right now, I've been fighting cancer for about 7 or 8 years. I had one taken out of my forehead, one from the top of my nose. I had my whole stomach taken out. And right now I have something called LARS, lower arterial resectioning cancer. And but I'm fighting it. I'm down a few pounds in weight. My good weight was like 230, 228, 230, and I'm down to about, 210 pounds, 212 pounds. So I lost a few pounds, but hey, that comes with age, too.
Do you feel good?
Oh, yeah, I feel fine. And I still work. I'm working for a company called Allied Liquor, the biggest liquor company in the state of New Jersey and one of the biggest in the country. And I'm with great people. My bosses always gave me time off when I was fighting. And I got a great company I'm working for, and I'm very proud of it.
Well, everybody loves you, Chuck Wepner. I'm so honored to have you on the show, and I thank you for your time. And I hope we can talk again.
Oh, anytime, Bob. Just give Susan a call, my baby doll.
You got it.
That's another story, and someday when we got some time, I'll tell you about it. She's big and beautiful, just like all my daughters. I have 4 of them now. So
nice.
Anyway, it's good talking, Bob. Thank you so much for the call.
Great pleasure, Chuck Wepner, the great Chuck Wepner. We'll be back after this. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our friend John Basiliga. Today featuring one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. Hospitable they are. Bar restaurants, all gorgeous. Great service. Amazing food from wings to steaks. The Old Brook Inn. And by the way, throw in steak tartare and marrow there. 307 Springbrook Township. The Far Street Tavern. On Far Street in the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton. A reimagined neighborhood bar. And the brand new Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. Amazing. Timothy Willingham. He was only 61 when we lost him, November 25th at home. He was from Frackville. Born in Pottsville, graduate of Pottsville Area High School, class of 1983. He served us in the U.S. Navy, 1982 to 1990. He worked as a corrections officer at SCI Mahanoy City for 25 years and was a member of the Trinity United Church of Christ in Pottsville. He's survived by his wife of 26 years, Denise, sisters, and other relatives. Timothy Willingham. And on the phone with us, friend of the show, Joe from Berwick, who brought Tim to my attention. Joe, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, Bob. Thank you. And I appreciate you featuring Tim. So, yeah, Tim was a good man. I worked with him for about a year. I worked with him for his entire career that you mentioned, but for about a year, he and I were partners on the transport team, the prison transport team. We drove all over the state, a lot of time in Philly. And he took care of his wife. He retired at 25 years. That was as soon as he could retire. And he did that because his wife had physical limitations, and he was her full-time caretaker. So, in honoring his memory, his wife needs prayer because she's by herself now. And aside from losing her husband, she has her own issues to deal with.
Yeah. You got to, you're dealing with some incredibly tough characters, particularly in the transport side of prison, which unfortunately I had a lot of experience with. Tell me, you had to trust your partner to do the right thing, to follow all the right procedures, or something could go sideways really quickly.
Oh, yeah. And what you're saying is absolutely correct. And when you hear of situations like that in the news, there's a really good chance that's exactly what happened. You had two people who were, may have been working together and weren't good partners or so what you're saying is correct. Like, in other words, if you're doing that job, because I did it for about 3 years, the last 3 years of my career, you and your partner almost instinctively have to know what the other is going to do at all times without even saying it, because things can get hairy real quick, and that's why you read about some of the things you do in the news when these escapes and whatnot happen.
Yeah. Now, he died at a very young age, just 61. What a shame, man.
Yeah, well, he was diabetic. He had one of those insulin pumps that automatically adjusted for your blood sugar and your eating habits and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But that undoubtedly had something contribute to it because, diabetes is very hard on the body.
Timothy Willingham.
Yeah.
What is your fondest memory of him, Joe?
Well, just it's going to sound strange for me to mention this, but in the later years of his life, okay, because of diabetes and whatnot, and he was, overweight, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But in spite of that, and in spite of how he could have easily been hurt by an inmate who was, these guys are in there, they lift weights, Bob, you know that, and some of these guys are bruisers. So And I remember in one incident where a guy was acting up, and Tim was escorting him, and he was locked in this hallway with this guy and a couple other guys, and I had to go in with him and unlock the gate to get in with him. But until that time, he was right there, and he could have been hurt pretty bad if the guy had, decided to do it, and he would have been in there by himself. But he did not even hesitate. I mean, I'll always remember that just because I was just so impressed by his nerves that day.
Probably what saved him.
Yeah.
He figured this guy's not afraid of me.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Joe, we appreciate you bringing Tim Willingham to our attention and for joining in on it. Appreciate it very much.
Well, hey, there's one other thing I wanted to mention. I don't know if you wanted to do it today or some other day. There's a story I have, a really good feel-good story I want to share with you and the other Bob who comes on at 3 o'clock. And it's about a veteran who was very low, and he got his life back together. So I'd like to call you with that someday because I think you're really going to – yeah, okay.
Be happy to. Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Our
Thank
friend
you,
Joe
Bob.
from Berwick. Thanks very much, my friend. Veterans Tribute for today, brought to you, or for this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and breezy, high 35. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 25. Thursday, cloudy and windy, chance of flurries, high 32. Friday, partly sunny and much colder, 25 degrees. At 10:43, according to my Picardo Jewelers watch, it's 32 degrees at the studios. Tom Jones. Murph says he had the #1 hit in the UK with his version of Porter Wagner's Green, Green Grass of Home. Oh, you love Tom Jones. Absolutely love him. Hey, somebody text in. Bob, LTS, wondering if any of your listeners have had this experience. I just came from a grocery store, Shields in Dunmore, great store, and my change was $10.13. The cashier was a young girl, very pleasant. She gave me $10 and a dime and said, "We don't give out pennies anymore." I thought that was odd. And she said, "Yeah, we're not getting them anymore from the bank." And then when I kind of pushed it, she gave me a nickel. Well, that is interesting because I was a penny collector forever. Fascinating. Yeah, they just discontinued making the penny because it was costing way too much and didn't have a lot of value. I think they'll round their prices up at some point. Oh, that's an interesting story. Hey, Donald from Pittston calling on Chuck Wepner and Jerry Tomasetti. How are you, Donald?
Yeah, I was Muhammad Ali's water boy in '74 and '75
Really?
as a kid. Yeah, my dad. How it happened? My dad was in the insurance business, and he went down there, wanted new territory, and he went down there, and he had these like ink pens with his name on. We passed them out, and it was wonderful. He used to train down there. Larry Holmes was the main sparring partner for Ali, and Archie Moore, the kid, some guys have the Kid Gavilan, the Bolo Punch, and. Oh, it was an exciting time. Anyway, how I know Jerry, I met him back in the 90s because I used to drive him. I was in the transportation business. He used to always request me because he used to be Tom Munley's caretaker for his kids. Good friends with Tom Munley, the attorney. They became a judge. And Jerry told me the whole story. He beat Chuck the first fight. The second fight, he lost. And then the third fight, I think he said right after Ellie, he got $25,000. And he got beaten that fight. So yeah, he lost 2-1. Big, massive guy, Jerry. Tall, like nicest guy in the world, though.
But Wepner was so big, he made Jerry look small.
Yeah, I was shocked. He said he was 210 pounds. But it must be a little bit now. But yeah, that was what happened. Well, as far as with Ali, with Larry Holmes was his main sparring partner. So that was like with rope and dope. He'd say, Ali lay on the ropes, and he'd say, Larry, hit me as hard as you could. So something was going on with that. I mean, I think he had that planned by Ali all along. And I used to go up there, and they said, the camp's not open. My dad dropped me off early. I was like a fly in the wall. Then my father talked to Angelo Dundee. That big guy was Angelo Dundee about investments and stuff. He said, okay, I'll take care of the kid. Bring the kid, my word. He was the boss, Angelo Dundee. Whatever he said went. And he said, yeah, I'll take care of the kid. Let him come up here. There was outhouses, and I was with that Drew Boudini Brown, the one guy that float like a butterfly, sting like a bee guy.
Yes.
So how I got him, I was always like a PR guy. And this guy was a big ladies' man. And I said, the girls would come around. And I said, you can't be with these women. Let me be your water boy. And he oh, yeah, good idea. I said, so then he'd be there talking to the woman. And I said, I get these, the buckets, and I'll pump the water from the well, and I'd bring them back. Oh, it was a good time. And there's just so much. I have pictures and everything. It was just a wonderful time in my life. But what happened with Chuck, I want to get to the knockdown now. Their feet did get tangled.
Yes.
But what happened was Chuck did knock him down, but Ali, he would have screamed, Ali, I slipped. He couldn't scream because Chuck knocked the wind out of him.
Yeah.
And he got up. That's why he wasn't yelling and screaming. It was a slip or something. Their feet did get tangled. It was a legitimate knockdown.
Well, one of the things they asked Chuck Wepner before the fight, he said, are you afraid of Muhammad Ali? He says, I did 3 years in the Marines. I'm not afraid of anything.
Yeah, Chuck was a big guy. He was a tough guy. I don't think he wasn't.
Yeah.
He fought, he fought some tough characters.
Buster Mathis, that's another name I didn't get to bring up. But here's the thing now. I'm surprised at this. Here's what his fight record says. He fought Jerry Tomasetti at Madison Square Garden December 18, 1964. He won. Then he fought Jerry Tomasetti February of 66. He won. And then they fought again in 67, July. Tomasetti won. That's the exact opposite of what I remembered. Bloomberg Money Minute. We'll be back.
No, I
Just so everybody knows, Tommy P, he's going to be on patrol on Apple Street, Dunmore. Doesn't matter the weather. He's like the mailman. Hey, that is the Occasions with a K. Murph says they moved up to number 5 with their hit Girl Watcher. This date, 1968. Look, I got to get to Mother Teresa for today because I forgot yesterday. Yeah, and I told Mary I did this. I'm so happy she stays persistent with me. But what I do is I'll read it to myself and contemplate it during a commercial break or whatever. And then I think I read it on the air. But here's Mother Teresa, St. Teresa for December 2nd. She says, open your hearts to the love of God. He loves you with tenderness, and he will give you not just to give, but to share. And when you are praying, ask for courage so that when you give, you can give until it hurts. This kind of giving is love in action. Remarkable. The thing is that when we read these messages from St. Teresa, you know she lived it to her personal detriment. December 3rd, St. Teresa. She said, never worry about numbers. Help one person at a time and always start with the person nearest you. You know, when someone like Mother Teresa is possessed of so much wisdom, and then you know she lived that wisdom, it's amazing. Somebody said, I saw Tommy P on patrol, thought he was an ICE agent. No, you're safe. Even if you're an illegal, you're safe. He's not tracking anybody down. Anyway, my Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me that it is going to be 11 o'clock. I'll tell you when on the nose because I'm watching my sweep hand. And when it is, we're going to go to the news with Brian Hughes. There we go. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:06 and change here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Wednesday, December 3, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our friend John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John, like Robert W. Bobby Baird, Shavertown, Timothy Charles Willingham, Frackville, PA, and Raymond Miley, Tannersville, formerly of Carbondale. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense will ensure that we create a sanctuary of sanity for you for the balance of the morning. And let's go right to it, because we have, I think he's surpassed John Hines in my book as my favorite senator of all time, and he's only been in office 11 months. And that is our guy, Senator Dave McCormick. Senator, welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you?
I'm great. How you doing, Bob?
Fantastic. Even better talking to you.
Well, I'm glad to be with you. How's everything going on in the Northeast?
Well, it's chilly, but we expect that. I
It's
just
in time for
remembered,
deer season.
by the way, I just interviewed, and you would have got a kick out of him, and I know you know this name, Chuck Wepner.
Chuck Wepner.
You remember the old Bayonne bleeder, fought Ali? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
The inspiration for the Rocky movies? Yeah.
Of course. Fantastic. How was that?
It was such a pleasure. I can't even describe it. And he was a wild man, but he's such a good guy. Everybody loved him.
Yeah, that's great. Well, those were the days. I went just sort of the next generation of that is UFC. And, and we got a bunch of Pennsylvanians, but Bo Nickel, Penn State wrestler, national champ, is kind of the up and comer there. I just got to see him the other day fighting. And, boy, that makes the boxing stuff look easy.
Well, I asked him. That's one of the questions I asked him. I said, Chuck, because he was the Bayonne brawler, the Bayonne bleeder. I said, you would have been a natural for MMA had it existed back then. And he said, Don King and not President Trump wanted him to fight, do a cage match with a guy, no holds bars, against another guy that had fought Ali. And he said, they didn't offer enough money.
Well, now who would have thought you fast forward on the clock and we're going to have an MMA fight on the White House lawn. Is that unbelievable or what?
I love it. I love it. And you know what?
Yeah.
You got to show these foreign countries that we're a little crazy in America. We're still crazy.
That's right. You don't want to pick on the guy in the bar fight that seems a little nuts. That's the one you want to stay away from, right?
Exactly. Well, Senator McCormick, a very eventful fall. The Schumer shutdown ended. We're recovering from that, although it hurt the economy a little bit. Tell us what are your main focuses right now?
Well, I mean, if you just go on the shutdown for a minute. I mean, I've been in Washington almost a year, and of all the dumb things I've seen, and there's plenty of dumb things, that had to be the dumbest. Just the most stupid idea that the Democrats would drive us into a cul-de-sac and shut that government down for 43 days, and that had a big, not just on growth. I mean, that really put a burden on air traffic controllers and border patrol. The folks in my team that were working during that time, all of them, we worked the whole time. Nobody was getting paid. Some of them had to take loans at the credit union. I mean, this was it's just disgraceful. And so, one of the things I came away with is I will never, no matter what party's in power, I will never vote to shut the government down as a way to get political leverage or something like that. It's just bad business. And now where we are is we're trying to do two things. We're trying to get back to normal order and pass the appropriations bills, which will be hopefully less spending next year than last year. and we're partway through that. And then there's this big question of these Obamacare subsidies and what's going to happen with those. And they're a real mess. I mean, Bob, you were there. I'm sure you talked a lot about at the time. Obamacare has been an absolute disaster.
Well, I was saying, Senator, that the main reason they did the shutdown, the Democrats did the shutdown, is they need to cover up the fact that Obamacare has utterly failed.
In every way. And, it had three goals: access, cost reduction, and quality. And on all three, people are worse off. There's less access, healthcare costs are going to out of control. And there's not only not quality, but here we are, we're the richest country in the world, and of the rich countries in the world, our mortality rates 30th. I mean, people are dying earlier, and we pay a lot more for it. So we got to fix that, and we got to reform healthcare. And the only way to do that is to give the consumer more control. So people are smart enough to make their own healthcare decisions. Yeah. We got to have way more transparency where everybody knows who's getting what, who's making money off this. These healthcare insurers are making a mint off the backs of the taxpayers. And then finally, we've got to have competition. And so in the near term, we got to figure out what we're going to do with these subsidies. But my bottom line on that is I would not pass the subsidies as they are. But I would consider it if we could get rid of the fraud and lower the income cap, because a bunch of people listening to this radio show up in the Northeast, their premiums are going to go through the roof in January unless we do something about it for people that are living paycheck to paycheck. So we got some work to do on that.
What do you see the Congress finishing and getting done before the end of the year?
My expectation is we'll pass a couple appropriations bills, particularly the National Defense Authorization Act. We gotta fund our military. It's a dangerous world. My expectation is we'll get through hopefully another 80 to 100 of the president's nominees before the end of the year, and just make sure he's got the team he needs. I don't think this health care thing is likely to be resolved by the end of the year. That's just, I'm not in the middle of all the leadership discussions, but that's just my sense of it. I mean, we got 12 days left or something like that of being in session. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Senator Dave McCormick is our guest. Senator, what do you think about getting rid of, and I have turned around and become a proponent of it, getting rid of the cloture argument and the 60 votes on debate?
Yeah, listen, this
tough
is
call.
It's a tough call. I get the frustration. I have the frustration. President Trump has the frustration. I mean, the Democrats have been such obstructionists. They just do anything to try to hurt the president's agenda. So, I think that it's tempting. The bottom line is tempting. And if there's another government shutdown threat, or the government actually shuts down, I think there'll be a lot of pressure to do that. During the campaign, in fact, you might have even asked me during the campaign. I said, listen, I'd be very reluctant to get rid of the filibuster. And the reason I said that during the campaign was, imagine had we not had a filibuster with Biden in control. We would have had two new states, Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. That would have been 4 new Democratic senators. We'd have stacked the Supreme Court. You got to imagine that it would have been disastrous.
But Senator, don't you think they're going to do it?
They'll do it anyway. Yeah, that's the question. Today's
Democrat Party, as it's configured, even with the Senate, there's not going to be a Kirsten Sinema. There's maybe your colleague Fetterman, but there aren't going to be votes on the Democrat side to not get rid of the filibuster.
Well, that'll be the question. So do you basically say we're gonna do it now because the Democrats are going to do it? So, listen, I'm torn on it. At this point, what I've said is I made my promise during the campaign, but I see now that I'm here in Washington, it's pretty obstructionist, and I'm understanding why the president and others are pushing for it. So we'll have to see. As a practical matter, I don't think there's the votes in the Senate right now to do it, but I think there's going to be growing pressure if the Democrats keep dragging their feet on things.
Senator McCormick, I always ask you this, and I know you're in a hurry, but 11 months in, what reflections do you have on your service as our senator?
Honestly, Bob, I really feel this. I feel like it's a privilege to do it. I feel lucky to have had the opportunity. I feel like I'm making a difference. Every time you see J.D. Vance break a tie in the Senate, that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't won. This seat is so important for the country that we won this, and it's so important for Pennsylvania. And I think I'm making a big difference for Pennsylvanians, whether it's the tax reductions in the big beautiful bill, or the border, or the fentanyl, or the energy and innovation summit we did, which brought tens of billions of dollars to Pennsylvania. So feel honored to do it. As I think I mentioned to you, I'm the 54th elected senator in Pennsylvania's history, and I'm the 9th senator in the history of America that came from West Point. And I feel like it's an honor to serve. So I'm doing my best to serve our Commonwealth well. There's only about half the people voted for me, but I feel an obligation to represent everybody, and I'm doing the best I can to do that.
Well, I have never seen, and I've been a scholar, that's an exaggeration, but I've been a student of the Senate for as long as I can remember. I've never seen a first-term senator come in and accomplish as much and have as much of an impact as you have during this first year of your career.
Well, thanks for saying that. I'm working hard, and I'm proud to do it. So thank you for always having me, and I hope to see you soon in person.
Love it. Love to see you. Senator
right,
Dave McCormick, our
Bye-bye.
senator. Thank you. We'll take a break. We're going to be back. We have Rich Marianos coming on with us. We're going to talk about something that's a little bit below the radar, and that is the vaping and other products coming out of China. And he would know. He's former U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobaccos, and Firearm and Explosive Assistant Director. He's the co-founder of the Tobacco Law Enforcement Network, and we're going to talk to him about some of the dangerous products coming out of that Asian nation. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Yeah. We're back. Ringo Starr, Sir Richard Starkey. Now, he was about 43. Yeah. No, 33. I apologize. He was 33 when he released that hit on this date, 1973. I don't think you could get away with it today. 16 years old. He's 33. Oh, Lord. Well, you know. It's fascinating. Fascinating. Anyway, Bob Cordaro back on the eponymous program. And my friend Vince Galco put me onto this. And one of the things they're talking about, the Trump administration and state law enforcement, they're ramping up enforcement against illicit disposable vapes from China. Check out what your kids are doing and look at and watch for what you're doing. And Pennsylvania's become one of the key battleground states for all of this. And we've got Rich Marianos, former U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms. He was an explosives assistant director, co-founder of the Tobacco Law Enforcement Network. And there's a bill currently moving through the Pennsylvania legislature that would create a nicotine electronic cigarette directory for Pennsylvania so that retailers, agents, law enforcement officers, all of that could verify legal brands versus these others. So without further ado, let's get Rich on the phone. Mr. Marianos, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Bob. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's good. It's good to have you. This is one of these below the radar things that when it came to my attention, I was so happy to hear that people like you are on top of it. Tell us about it.
Well, thanks again. And you're absolutely right. If you would have said to me 20 years ago that you would be looking at, vape crime, I would probably laugh at you because, my experience goes to violent crime, gun carriers and trigger pullers. But when you have a marketplace, and this is what we're trying to put out there into the public, is this has become the new face of organized crime. These vape shops have become like legalized crack dens because they're not just selling vapes, they're selling narcotics. They're working with cartels. They're working for working with high-level crooks. And these vapes that are being produced by communist China, where 86% of the marketplace is the Chinese government, it goes from China, who is our biggest national threat, down to our children. And they make billions upon billions, hundreds of billions of dollars a year on the back of the United States with, like I said, high-value targets, high-level organized crime, and it's right under our radar screen.
Well, Pennsylvania has what could be, it depends obviously on enforcement, but what could be a serious check on the illegal portion of these sales. Tell us about that.
Pennsylvania is doing a great job, and the legislators have done even better job of getting across the aisle, working together on coming up with a registry to identify these illegal products. So I want to pay them, the kudos and the attention that they deserve for working together and trying to get the tools for law enforcement to go out there and disrupt these shops, because that's the key. The administration in Washington, the 202 area code, also has been very helpful recently by giving law enforcement $200 million to enforce these illegal vape shops or these vape shops that are selling these illegal products. But it really needs that money to go to local law enforcement, the local communities, the boots on the ground to disrupt, dismantle, and go after these crooks. not all these shops are illegal. Okay, we're not going to paint the brush here, but many of them, when you see the market share shows that 86% are not involved in tobacco harm reduction. They're involved in selling illegal products from China, and they're pushing them on the street to our kids. And law enforcement in Pennsylvania has done a great job working with the tools that the legislators are giving them to go out there and disrupt this marketplace. But we need to continue to hit. This is almost like our war on drugs, because these shops are putting out THC synthetics, 7-OH synthetics, kratom, nitrous oxide, and they're all dangerous products that somehow have gotten through the process, and these shops are selling them with impunity. And many of them carry guns, they're laundering money, they're tied to cartel activity. And the sad part is, when you really, really dig deep, like our organization does with the federal government, we are finding that these Chinese organized crime groups are not just in the vape business, but they're selling and creating the fentanyl precursors that are going out worldwide to labs, again, killing our kids, killing our vulnerable population.
And all of these is establishing a distribution network that you could pump any kind of poison through.
100%, and that's what it's doing. Just recently, in Laredo, Texas, they hit one of these vape shops, and they found a tunnel being dug by the cartels all the way to try to get across the border to allow more smuggling, whether it's human, narcotics, vapes, guns, but create ability through these vape shop fronts. And again, I don't want to paint everyone bad on this. There are some vape shops that are involved in tobacco harm reduction, selling regulated products to get people away from combustible smoking. But you cannot ignore 86% of the products in the marketplace being sold by these shops are contraband. They're illegal, and they're manufactured by organized crime.
We're talking with Rich Marianos, former director at the ATF, and currently a co-founder and director of Tobacco Law Enforcement Network. There's an all-of-government approach that you're seeing, and do you think it can work? We've tried. We've had a war on drugs forever, and it hasn't worked. Can you something with a focus on this type of product work?
This can work if we get in front of it early. And that's the idea, is coming in front of the problem early, identifying it, fixing it, and prevent it from happening again. But the first part is to educate local law enforcement, educate the parents, and go after these shops on the ground floor, and then work our way with federal law enforcement that look at high-value targets, that look at Chinese perpetrators, Chinese offenders that are behind this, and go after, the money, go after the manufacturing. It can be done if we go after it in a proactive, preventive approach early, but we cannot sit on our hands. We can't say, oh, this is only vapes, this is not a big deal. Yeah. It is a big deal when we dig into who is involved. And that's what we have to understand. It is more than just a vape issue. It is a serious, serious criminal problem.
Well, Rich Marianos, we thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. We appreciate it. We appreciate your fight on this front. It's important. We thank you for doing it. And please feel free to check back in to update us at any time you'd like.
Thank you so much, Bob. And if your listeners want to go on the website to learn more, we update all the time on successful arrests and campaigns. It's at www.enforcetobaccolaws.com. We look forward to working with anybody. We definitely want the legislators to help us in this fight.
What is again now? Tell us the site.
www.enforcetobaccolaws.com.
Enforcetobaccolaws.com. Thank you. Rich Marianos, we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Bob. Have a wonderful day.
You too. We'll take a break. We'll come back with our Veterans Tribute after this. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour. This day and every day. Brought to you by a true friend of the vets, John Basiliga. We're featuring today his company, Basiliga Hospitality. Fine dining, none better, none more beautiful. A Terra 519, downtown Scranton. Modern take, gorgeous. Amazing food, amazing drinks. Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. It's also an event space, by the way. Outstanding, gorgeous, gorgeous old world setting. Raymond Miley. He died at age 77, November 11th. He lived in Tannersville. He survived by his wife of 53 years, the former Marilyn Sarah. Born in Long Island, New York. Raised in Carbondale. A Lady of Victory Church, Tannersville was his church. He was a graduate of Benjamin Franklin High School, the great Benjamin Franklin High School, class of 1966, Carbondale. He was a United States Army veteran who served us bravely as a member of the 2nd Battalion, 25th Infantry Regiment of the Vietnam War, where he received the Bronze Star. That's valor in combat. And upon completion of his tour, he wasn't done serving. He joined the Metropolitan Police Department in Washington, D.C., serving for 20 years before retiring in 1990. He then came back to town, joined the Pennsylvania Attorney General's office, where he served as senior special agent in the Criminal Law Division until retiring in 2015. In addition to his wife, he's survived by his daughter, his son, 5 grandsons, and many other family members. Family says that Raymond lived his life with honor, deep respect for his country. He said the rosary every day. He lived an extremely humble life, wanting for nothing, but always making sure those he cared for had everything they needed. Raymond Miley, our veteran this hour, brought to you by our friend John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast, meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, sunny and breezy, 35 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy down to 25. Thursday, cloudy and windy with a chance of flurries, 32 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, much colder, 25. And right now outside the studios, it is 33 degrees. Bob Cordaro back. Hey, just a reminder. And I know I'm not I don't know how to do these things, but this is pretty easy. If you want to come to our authors' performance in the WILK Performance Studio, we've got Matt Birkbeck, author of a slew of books, including The Quiet Don, The Life We Chose, his new novel, The Wicked, coming soon, The Bookie. And then a friend of mine, Chris Finazzo, who wrote Reflections of a Town Driver, who all of you loved when I had him on the air. They'll be here next Thursday at noon. I'm going to be interviewing them during the program, and then we'll go into the event space we have right here at Studios on 305 Route 315 Pittston. And we'll do a meet and greet, Q&A, get your books and get them autographed by both authors. You have to RSV by next Wednesday, the 10th. Seating is limited. You go to WILKNewsRadio.com, go to events, and you could just RSV saying, I'm coming. No price, no cost. But we'll be here, and I'll be hosting them. Looking forward to it. You know, it's extra work to do something special, but you guys deserve it. You really do. Somebody texted in, isn't there enough violence in the world without MMA coming to the White House lawn? We're in a cruel world with vicious, vicious enemies. We've got to show how tough we are to the world. We've got to show them that we don't blush at an all-out brawl, that we're in. You're thinking of a different world. You're not thinking of the one we're living in. I'm looking for it on my phone as I speak. There was a really great thing, and I haven't read it in a while, and when I find it, I will read it before the end of the program. But it's just talking about Americans and what we are and why you should fear us. And by the way, Donald Trump understands that. This ain't a patty cake world. And if we want to look like we're we're not tough, they'll try us. Peace through strength does not mean softness. It means showing them how tough we are. And, as I said to Senator McCormick, how crazy we are. Yeah, we're going to have MMA fighters on the lawn. Here's who we are. Be afraid. Be very afraid. And I'm sorry, that isn't nice. It's not sweet. It's not any of that stuff. But it's absolutely essential that the world understands that America is a certain kind of crazy that you don't cross. That's just reality. It's not fun. It's not nice. It's none of those things. But please, you've got to understand that. When Trump talks like a tough guy and a street guy, believe me, it benefits us. It may bother you in the short term, but it helps us. It is a deterrent. Believe me, it is. Nobody wants to, no one fears someone who is proper and polite and can't get out of hand. I'm sorry. That's just that's the way our enemies think. If they think we've gone soft, which we had, if we don't bring back and show our hard edge, we could have a real problem. We could, and by the way, we'd be creating that problem. That's the saddest part of all. My original reaction, yeah, it's the White House lawn. Don't do the MMA. And then I thought about it. I go, man, no. We have to. Period. So, just that's my point of view, and I understand. We want to look nice. We want to be nice. But the sad reality is, in this world, without tough guys, without guys that'll punch you in the face or shoot you, or blow up your drug boat, they will walk all over us, and they did it the last 4 years. Let's take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Thanks, Gerard. Thanks, Frank, who's he's sitting at a bar in Townsville, Australia, and singing his song to Joe. And, of course, we updated it with our man, Mark Mayer. And just so everybody knows why we do this, my show was on noon to 3. I replaced Rush Limbaugh. After a couple of years, I begged them, could I do the 9 a.m. show? And they were nice enough to let me do that and switch times. And I said, well, we can't get rid of Frank. So we'll find out where it's 2:45 in the morning. And my friend Rick Bigelow always helps me on that front. And so we're good. Bob Cordaro back on the eponymous program. Bob, you're absolutely right. Somebody texted. Our grandfathers and great-grandfathers would probably be very disappointed to see how a lot of these folks have grown up. Most men probably need to call an electrician anymore to just change a light bulb. Somebody else, the same complaining about the MMA on the White House lawn. We're okay with men pretending to be women showing off their fake breasts on the White House lawn. Well, we can't make that conclusion. Can't make that conclusion from that listener. And somebody says, but of course you're okay if the Republicans are doing it. No, I would have loved Joe Biden to do it. He just wasn't capable. He was a fake tough guy. Remember how we just take him out behind the school? What a wimp. He didn't do anything tough in his entire life. Somebody said maybe if more people were confident in their fighting and ability to defend themselves, less idiots would pull guns in a dispute. Maybe walk away shaking hands respectfully like we did growing up. Look, I mean, think of Chuck Wepner. My God, he fought wars with Jerry Tomasetti and guys like that. And they were best of friends. Well, I always look at my Picardo Jewelers watch, and it tells me what I have to do without saying so. Bloomberg Money Minute, 11:50. Ozzy Osbourne. John Michael Osborne, Birmingham, England, this date, 1948. Well, we lost him this year. The Bulldog, you got to know that Bulldog and I, there's a lot of tension between us. And he's always starting problems. So I said, hey, let's finish with Bob Geldof and Band-Aid. They released their Christmas song, Do They Know It's Christmas Time? And that's December 3rd, 1984. And about, I don't know, 10 minutes later, or was it a minute later? I don't know. He says, how about Crazy Train? I said, Bulldog, I just told you what I wanted to finish with. So he insisted on playing Crazy Train, and that's fine. It's just the way he does it. He's very passive aggressive, like a bulldog. And yeah, he's always busy or looking for ways to aggravate me. And by the way, he's generally successful. So this is Geldof and Band-Aid to finish it off for the day. Cabinet guy says Democrats don't want to get rid of fraud. Look how they won't supply information for SNAP. I know it. Now, he's got a different one than I, but Donald from Pittston said, according to Wikipedia, Wepner fought Thomas Eddy 4 times. Wepner winning 3 out of 4. I just found, Donald, I just found the newspaper article. Just it was sent to me because I just love Jerry Tomasetti, and it was sent pictures in the Scranton Tribune the day after his first fight with Chuck Wepner, and Tommy Sheehan, the Dunmore guy, he also fought in that card. Amazing. Amazing. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed that. I cannot find, but I'm going to make it a point to find this thing about George Washington to show them how crazy Americans are and why you should fear us. And I'm telling you, God forbid we ever lose that spirit. We ever lose that little craziness. We ever lose that little edge. It is over. And I mean that. You can pretend you want to be civilized and nice and all this kind of thing. You could always do that. You could pretend all you want. But if we descend to that level, I'm guaranteeing you. Here it is. Found it. Thank you. Americans. It's a picture of George Washington and his gang going across the river, the Delaware. It says Americans willing to cross a frozen river to kill you in your sleep on Christmas. Totally not kidding. We've done it. Amen. Guys, have a great afternoon. The Sue Henry Show is next. Rob O'Donnell Show after that. God willing, I'll be back with you tomorrow morning to do it all again because the battle is over, but the war goes on. Club for Common Sense. Meeting adjourned.